For the first time in a long time, the Cavaliers are the undisputed #1 team in the East. Welcome in or welcome back. Finally, we get to talk about a good basketball team. For these solo episodes, I had a putrid run of very bad to meh at best basketball teams, but I'm so glad that I get to talk real hoops for once. And the biggest thing about the Cavaliers this offseason is I think they did as good of a job as anybody else in the league at replacing their own talent. The best teams in the league can either retain or replace their own talent and get better around the edges, and that's exactly what the Cleveland Cavaliers did this offseason. And with the Celtics and the Pacers seemingly taking a step back this year, the only other established contender in the East right now is the New York Knicks. And yeah, sure, there are other teams that could be contenders like the Magic or the Hawks, but until they take out the Titans that are the Cavs and the Knicks respectively, I'm going to have to assume that those are the two teams to beat. Now, I do think that if the Cavaliers don't make the NBA Finals or the Eastern Conference Finals at bare minimum, we're going to have some questions to be answered, but we'll get there eventually. To look at their season in preview, we have to start foundationally in the draft. At number 49, they picked up Tyrese Proctor out of Duke, and at number 58, they picked up Saliu Niang. And because of all the moves that the Cavaliers have made over the last couple of years, they don't exactly have a ton of first-round picks at their disposal. And that's why it's ultra valuable to nail your second-round picks. And I think potentially they got really good value at the end of the second round. For Tyrese Proctor, his story could have been very, very different. He was this highly touted prospect coming out of high school, and everyone kind of assumed that he was going to be a one and done at Duke. That obviously didn't work out for him, and honestly, I think it may be for the best. With his 3 years at Duke, he became a better basketball player and a better leader. At this stage in his career, I think that he is best suited as a tertiary ball handler behind the guys like Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell and now Lonzo Ball. I don't think that he'll be asked to do so much on the offensive end, especially when it comes to his facilitating, but what I do think he'll be asked to do is shoot the shit out of the ball. I think the most obvious skill that he can bring and the most impactful skill, especially early on, that he will bring to his team is his three-point shooting. He shot nearly 40% last year at Duke on almost 6 attempts a game. Now, a small caveat to that is that the Cavaliers already have a bunch of shooters on their roster, so I think that Tyrese is probably going to spend a ton of time in the G League, but eventually he's going to get a shot. And for Niang, I wanted to mention him just for a second. I don't know how much time he'll actually get this year just because of who's in front of him from the depth chart, but I did like what I saw from him in the Eurobasket this year. I think because of that performance, he's going to see a ton of reps in the G League at bare minimum. The Cavaliers only had one re-signing this year, and it was Sam Merrill on a 4-year deal. Now, I don't think that that's the sexiest move that they could have pulled off this summer, but that contract extension is definitely deserved. Sam really is in the prime of his career right now, and he's really found a perfect role for him on this Cavaliers team. His one objective, shoot the lights out. Last year, he shot 37% on 5 attempts a game, and I don't know if his volume will increase, but I certainly know that it won't decrease. I think that he knows his role, and he's going to give us similar production to what we got last year. The Cavaliers got 2 new additions this summer in Larry Nance Jr., which is a homecoming, and Lonzo Ball. I'm not sure if there's a huge role for Larry Nance Jr. on this team right now, but I am a sucker for a reunion. Last year, he gave the Hawks about 8 points and 4 rebounds a game, and I think that we can expect something similar for this team. He's going to be a real energy guy off the bench, backing up guys like Evan Mobley and Jarrett Allen. I think it'll be in pretty limited minutes, but when the Cavs need an energy guy off the bench, they will call on Larry Nance Jr.'s number. And as for Lonzo Ball, I really need to put a huge disclaimer here. I am a big Lonzo Ball fan. If I could have afforded the $500 ZO2s, I would have been rocking them. That's how big of a fan I am. So when I say this next part, you should know that it's coming from a place of love, but also reality. At this stage in his career, I just don't think that Lonzo Ball is a starter in the NBA, and that's why I think his role in this Cavaliers team is perfect for him. I certainly don't think that he's not a starter anymore for some sort of lack of skill. It's literally just because of his health. With this kind of role, and reducing his playmaking responsibilities and reducing his minutes, more importantly, I think that this really is a perfect role for him. He's probably going to play about 20 minutes a game, and he's just going to ease that transition from the starters to the bench, and he's going to keep things constant when the guys like Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell aren't on the floor. I usually stay away from these kind of predictions, these bold predictions and videos like this, but let's assume that he has perfect health this year. I think that Lonzo Ball is a prime candidate for 6th man of the year. Now, of course, that is a big if, but a guy can dream. Of course, we have to talk about the departures now, and they had 2 this year Isaac Okoro, and Ty Jerome. Transitioning from a potential Sixth Man of the Year candidate to an actual Sixth Man of the Year candidate, I think that Ty Jerome's loss would be felt more if they didn't go get Lonzo Ball. Now, of course, I do think that Ty Jerome will be significantly more healthy than what Lonzo will be this year, but that's really the only difference between the two. Again, assuming that everybody stays healthy, I think that Lonzo's the better player. I think he's the better facilitator. I think he's the better defender. But because we can't assume that everyone's going to stay healthy, I just can't help but feel like Ty Jerome's impact is going to be felt even just a little bit this year. And as for Isaac Okoro, I think it was just time to move on. I kind of thought that the writing was on the wall for him when the Cavs went and traded for DeAndre Hunter out of Atlanta, so this trade really didn't surprise me at all. If you're looking at it from the Bulls' perspective, they didn't want to stay on Lonzo's contract anymore, and they just wanted to wipe their hands of the whole situation, so really it was more of a salary dump. I think that Isaac Okoro is a pretty solid defender, but that forward room in Chicago right now is pretty stacked with guys like Patrick Williams and Matas Buzelis and even Noah Senge now. I don't know if we could really expect anything out of him in Chicago this year, but because the Cavs went and got DeAndre Hunter last year, I don't think that Isaac Okoro will really be missed. And looking at the team from an overview when we're previewing the season, we know who else is there. We have Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell and Jared Allen and Evan Mobley. Because of those core four and the other moves that we've talked about in this video, I think that it's very easy to say that the Cavs are undisputedly the number one team in the East right now. Unfortunately, I do think that if they underperform or if they fall short of an ultimate goal, I think that this team is going to go under some big changes next year. Because Jared Allen is in his prime right now. Darius Garland and Evan Mobley are getting ready to reach their prime, and we're reaching the fourth season that Donovan Mitchell has been in Cleveland. I think if we have another year of this team being a number one or a number two seed all year long, only to fall short in the playoffs, I don't think that all four of them are going to come back for next year. Because the East has lost some of its gladiators, I think that this is very clearly the Cavaliers' best chance to break through to the NBA Finals. And if they don't, I think they're going to have to retool around Darius Garland and Evan Mobley and move on from Jared Allen and Donovan Mitchell. But what do you think the Cavs are going to do? Are they going to overperform? Are they going to underperform? Let me know down in the comments below. While you're down there, check my description. I got a link tree with all of my socials. Twitter, Blue Sky, Instagram, TikTok. I am everywhere. And I even have a Discord community that I would love for you to be a part of. But that's going to do it for me. Be on the lookout for your favorite team in this series. Be kind. Tell somebody you love them. I'll see you in the next one.
Barely scraping by. Trying to stop puffing. I'm trying to be one of the greats.